Hey everybody, this is Muffin with the Daily Biker Podcast. Just here to let y'all know the opinions and ideas expressed in this show are those of the hosts and their guests, not to be confused with their partners and sponsors. Now, let's get it on.
Hey guys, this is Sean from the Bikes and Beards YouTube channel, and you guys are listening to the Daily Biker Podcast. You're gonna love it.
Glad we didn't start there.
Yes. Yes, I'm also glad that the fire is getting bigger.
It is. It is slowly working its way past all the rain that we've had over the past couple weeks.
Yes, I am chief. I want big fire.
Me want big fire.
So, hey everybody, welcome back to the Daily Biker Podcast. That's a spike.
It's so tight.
We are sitting out by the fire. My name is Marcus, and I am your clueless leader. Today, we're going down memory lane. But before we go down memory lane, I want to, do roll call as well.
I guess roll call. That's
Yeah.
about what it is.
Yep.
After you get out of the smoke.
Yeah,
I'm in it. I'm in
Yep.
it. I'm in it.
So, that lovely voice that you hear is Heather.
Hey y'all.
And as our clueless leader walks away from the smoke inhalation, I'm Daniel, and I'm here. Hey, look, there's some flames.
There's some flames. We're getting warmer.
So, when you are listening to this, this is the Monday before Christmas, so I want to go ahead and say Merry Christmas to everybody. And I want y'all to know we have a very special Christmas episode for you. The week of Christmas, that episode is actually going to come out on Christmas morning. It's not a super long interview, but it was a really fun episode to do.
Absolutely. You need to check it out.
So, that's kind of our Christmas present to y'all.
We thoroughly enjoy
Yeah,
it.
there won't be an episode that comes out on December 26th. It'll come out December 25th. Wake up, gather all the children around the fireplace, and instead of telling them Christmas stories, listening to that episode of the podcast, and spend the rest of the day with your family.
Absolutely.
And remember what Christmas is about. So,
Presents.
no. Scrooge McDuck. So, what I want to do, because this is going to be outside of our Christmas special, this is our last episode of the year.
That is correct.
I want to do like a year-end recap. Obviously, we're not going to go down everything, and we're not necessarily going to be about podcast stuff, but what in 2022 in your life has been a big memorable thing. For me, it's going to be about motorcycles, period.
Yeah.
But what's that big thing? And I mean, obviously, we'll probably touch on some of the episodes and stuff like that we did this year. So, I mean, Daniel, you want to kind of start us off?
Well, I mean, obviously, if you've listened to any of the podcasts, you know that me and Marcus, a majority of what we do is motorcycle related. We are, he works at the dealership. I don't, but I'm there often enough that I might as well work there.
You're there often enough that you're treated the same as an employee.
Exactly.
You have a staff shirt.
I do have a staff shirt.
If you've ever been to any of our events at the dealership, you've probably seen Daniel actually working the event, usually like a food truck or helping get stuff set up or tore down or those types of things.
But, I mean, a majority of the major things that have happened this year have been motorcycle related. And I would say one of the biggest things is, for me and Stephanie, is finding Stephanie a bike that she's comfortable with riding in big groups and, being with everybody.
Yeah.
Like that's because I've always had my bikes, and finding one that she's truly comfortable with was a huge deal. And now she rides it with the best of them, which is fantastic, and it's something that's excited me. So I would say that, to me, that's my biggest highlight motorcycling of the year, is getting Stephanie on something that she's truly comfortable with and her kind of coming into her own riding.
Yeah. Heather, what's probably your biggest? I mean, we'll talk about a lot more, but what's probably your biggest motorcycle highlight of 2023 or 2022? Whatever.
We're not at 2023 yet. Look, we have a few.
Everything at work for me though right now is in 2023
starting to
focus
change.
already.
Sure, yeah. For me, I think there's two big things. For one, I actually got on a motorcycle and rode it. I'm learning how to ride. For
Yeah.
me, that's huge. Two, me and 3 other women at the Harley shop started Alita's Chattanooga chapter.
Okay.
That was huge. That's huge for us.
Absolutely.
So those are the 2 milestones I've had.
And those are 2 big things for women riders,
Exactly.
which is unfortunately an underserved group in the riding community.
Yeah.
There, you guys are out there, but nobody focuses on it.
Exactly, yeah.
Because if they do, it's pink gear. You get a pink helmet. Look at these cute pink gloves.
Yeah.
But that's not what
That's not what it's about.
that's not what it's about.
Yeah.
It's, a very open hobby to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So you getting on your own bike, riding, getting out there and doing what you want to do, and starting being a founding member of the Alita's chapter here in Chattanooga. That's huge for women riders and yourself.
Yeah.
So
So I'm excited about that.
I think for me, it's been the opportunity to meet so many new people, but especially those people that are influencers in the motorcycle community. Some of these people are on corporate payrolls for companies. I mean, I've met people that work in the world of influence, whether it's social media or magazine or whatever it may be, that work for Harley Davidson. I've met, and Heather's met several of these people too, but I've gotten to meet Maggie Hicks, who is a major influencer, not just when it comes to the motorcycle community, but female riders.
Oh, she's huge. Yeah.
The Litas, Iron Lilies, all those things. And she's also a brand ambassador for the Harley Davidson Motor Company. Getting to meet Chuck and Z.
Yes.
They have their own thing they do based out of Atlanta. They podcast and they YouTube and they Instagram and they Facebook, and they even got to the point where they were this past year part of the brand ambassador program for Harley Davidson. And there's so many more people that I'm getting to talk to at the moment. Even if it's not on the phone, it's just through a text message or a phone call, or not a phone call, a text message or an email, or even just my name or their name being linked in the same emails. That's like, outrageous.
it's a big deal.
Yeah,
It's a big deal.
it's a huge deal. There's, big props to Sean for the things that he's done and given me the opportunity to be able to do these things and meet these people. So that's probably the biggest thing for me is those influencers that I have met in the motorcycle community this past year.
Same for me too.
Yeah, heck, me and Daniel.
The Bikes and Beards
yeah,
guys.
we met Bikes and Beers. They do the opening and intro on the podcast. He put a sticker on my motorcycle.
That was a. We can still fangirl about that. That was an awesome day.
It was completely an awesome day. And I think every bit of the podcast and what I do for the ability to do those. And of course, the podcast and what I do don't go hand in hand, but at the same time, they're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
Actually, I do what I do for a living because of the podcast. Some people might think I do the podcast because of what I do for a living, but it's not. The podcast started before I started working for the dealership, actually. I achieved my position at the dealership because of what I do with the podcast and my passion for it. So that's probably the biggest highlight is those influencers.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's amazing the type of people that we meet doing this.
You mean like the nicest people on a Honda?
Yeah, absolutely.
But you're on a Honda and you're an asshole.
Well, look, there's statistics for everything. Someone has to be, and I guess it'll be me.
Oh, it's popping.
But I think one of the big, it's the different type of people that we meet. All different types of backgrounds, different types of writing, what they want to do, what they want to achieve.
Yeah.
And we've talked to a number of wonderful people, very, very interesting in their lives. And there's stuff that you guys don't necessarily hear on the podcast, or conversations that we have outside of it, and talking to these people and getting everything set up. And it is we are very fortunate in that we have access to these people, and that they even want to talk to us or give us the time to do these things.
Yeah, and I mean, and I'm going to say, just so some of these people understand, it's not as simple as, me making a phone call and going, hey, I've got a podcast. Would you do this? Or sending a message to somebody. I have yet to be able to sell someone on talking to them about the podcast without being face-to-face. And I think that's because in the face-to-face environment, I do a really good job of selling the podcast. That's not me being as a salesperson. That's the passion for the podcast comes through when I talk to these people. And they see it and they go, this is something I want to do. The greatest thing about that passion, not to just keep bragging on Sean and making his head bigger. It's not going to anyways.
He doesn't listen to this.
He told me the other day he doesn't listen. But
hey, he can keep funding it. That's fine.
That's perfectly fine with me. Pay no attention behind the curtain. But yeah. Sorry, we were making that joke. But he has got me in front of people and been like, hey, I want to introduce you to Marcus. He's my marketing manager. He has this podcast about motorcycles, and he's already laid a lot of this groundwork when I talk to these people and when I meet these people. So yeah, it's really cool. It's really interesting. And sometimes it's still like baffling and shocking to me to think that the podcast is at a year. Level. Well, not that it's over a year.
Yeah,
we're almost at 2, but it's at a level though where if we didn't have an episode that come out one week,
somebody would let us know.
Somebody's going to notice. I mean, shout out. I think it was Chris that did it up in the New England area. I had accidentally loaded the wrong audio up back in the fall when I was in Panama in the fall, and there was 2 audios back-to-back weeks on the same one. And he sent me a message, and I was like, oh, dude, thank you so much. And the upside about the way that our system is set up, being able to do it on my phone, I was able to immediately go in there and delete out, reload, immediately publish, and those types of things. So there wasn't people affected. And, it's crazy to think, because to us, and a lot of times, when I'm at work or those types of things, it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to go record the podcast. And people are like, oh, that's cool. There's never a question from Sean. Sean signs my checks, but there's never a question from him when I say, hey, I'm going to do podcast stuff, because he sees it. He not only sees it from when he's out and about and hearing people talk, but he also sees the emails from our podcast hosting service. Since he does pay, he gets the emails on our downloads and our channel subscriptions and stuff like that. So he sees that. So I definitely want to say thank you to everybody for those things, because it helps me. But we just last week got a message from a Chattanooga guy.
Yep.
Who recently stumbled across the podcast, said he drives a truck around Chattanooga, and loves it. I mean, he's like, he likes the fact that
we're local.
We're local. although we talk about stuff all over the country,
Yeah.
me and you know local. So we
Yes.
talk local most of the time.
But getting messages like that, and there have been a lot of you that have messaged us. We do really appreciate hearing from you and letting us know like what you enjoy, or maybe there's something that you'd want us to talk about.
Yeah.
We do. We both Marcus and I and Heather, we love seeing those messages, reading those, and because we talk about them later, and we discuss like, hey, this person asked us to do something on this, or
Yeah.
they mentioned this other differing opinion. And, the fact that you would take the time out of your day to message us really does speak volumes about what we're doing. And because Marcus is right, there's a lot of times where we look at it, and for us, we're recording a conversation between friends. And
saying that, kind of what I was trying to say earlier was the people that are around us directly, they know we do a podcast. And when me and Daniel go, oh, we're going to go record a podcast, they're like, okay.
Yeah.
Like to them, they think it's just some goofy thing that we do. They don't realize that there's so many people that listen to this and surprisingly want to hear what we have to say.
So, somehow people do actually want to listen to us, and I apologize. But yeah, and it's we are all got the smoke.
The smoke.
Smoke got me. We are all friends, and what we do here is literally conversations that we have that we're just recording.
Yeah.
That these are conversations that we would have regardless of the podcast, but maybe a little bit more topical. But
I mean, that's how this started. That being said, we are going to, in 2023, we're going to work more on bringing you some stories and some information. Obviously, that doesn't mean educational, but there's some really neat stories of people out there, whether it's influencers or generalized writers that are famous. But that's the thing. When people think of influencers, a lot of times they think of social media. And you have a lot of people out there that aren't influencers
yeah,
in social media. Maybe some of these people weren't around before maybe they passed away before social media was even a thing. Yeah. And they have these stories that so many people haven't heard. And we're going to do our best to bring you some of these stories. And of course, there's some people that seem to like the Goldwing episode where Daniel read the Wikipedia. And
I did do more research than just the Wikipedia.
I sat there and made fun of it the whole time. People seem to enjoy that. So we're going to bring you some more of that. Obviously, we'll still talk about, the things that we're doing and
the regular goings on, the events that we have, things like that, or just news that we hear. But I think going into the future, talking about specific topics and diving into depth about them and the information that's around them. It seems like you guys really enjoy those episodes that we do, even the Sportster episode.
Yeah.
It's
kind of like a lot of people don't know. One of the first people to cross the continental United States on a motorcycle was a woman.
Yeah.
So there might be some people that just had their heads blown. And trust me,
we just lost multiple listeners. That was it.
That's okay. I mean, if we lost 2 listeners that are womanizers, I'm not that.
We lost 2 listeners in Saudi Arabia.
No. So
You wear vest.
trust me, the story gets. If the fact that a woman was one of the first people to cross the United States on a motorcycle blows your mind, the story gets even crazier than that. So just wait for those types of stories. But not only that, I know some people that I want to get in and get some stories from them. T has several stories.
Absolutely.
She hasn't been in the motorcycle community as long as I have, but she has some stories that she could tell, and she's a great storyteller too.
Yeah.
So we're going to bring you some what I think is some really cool stuff, and obviously we're going to come in with some informational stuff, and when there's some groundbreaking stuff that's happening, We'll share that. For instance, on January 18th, Harley has their first 2023 release video they're going to be putting out called the 120. No, I don't believe that's the cubic inch, Daniel. It's called the 120 because it is Harley Davidson's 120th anniversary. So, but there's going to be a lot of new stuff coming out, and I'll be interested to see what it is. But we'll be talking about those things, you know. We'll be talking about these bikes that were at EICMA that we recently talked about when they really start hitting the market. We'll still be talking about those things and giving our personal and collective opinions on those things, because that's what people seem to want to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. And we will do our best to bring you as much information about whatever topic you would like us to discuss. So, So Marcus, out of the podcasts that we've done for the past year, was there any that stood out to you? Besides obviously we had quite a few interviews. You know, we had topics on gear, we had topics on new motorcycles, bikes, and informational podcasts. Was there anyone that stood out to you as one of your favorite ones to record or discuss?
I think one of my favorite episodes, simply because the way it comes is a multifaceted episode, kind of going back to what I talked about at the beginning. And I think I called it, I think the episode is Just a Girl from the Desert, episode 69. But it's the Maggie Hicks episode, you know. Last year was the second time I got to go up to Loretta Lynn's ranch. For anybody in the motorcycle community, some of them might be going, who's Loretta Lynn? Some of them might be going, oh, I'm not a country music fan. Has nothing to do with either one of those two factors. It has to do with if you're a motorcycle fan. It's an old school, you know, happens in the dirt type rally, and there's a lot of stuff that's going to be changing in 23 to bring more of that dirt aspect to it. But, you know, I sat down and recorded with Maggie only a couple hours after knowing her, and we're from two completely different worlds. I mean, I've met girls that ride and are independent and those types of things. I've never met a female rider like Maggie was, though.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
I mean, you're talking about...
she's someone different.
Well, you know, she has a boyfriend, and she's a daddy's girl, and you have those types of things. But, and she likes to be a girly girl, too. But she is a strong, independent, you know, go camping on a motorcycle out of a backpack for 4 days, pack everything you need for 4 days. You know, she's posted stuff online about, you know, how she follows the rule of one, bring one of this, one of that, one of this, one of that. I mean, I commented on that. I was like, well, I hope you bring 2 socks and not just one. But, you know, and...
So, oh, crap.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me. But, you know, to be able to talk to her, and, you know, everybody knows the whole 7 degrees of separation. You know, Maggie is really good friends with Kaylin Thorian, who is a huge motorcycle influencer. Number one, but number two is a former professional Olympian.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's one of those things you kind of go, oh, I wonder what these Olympic athletes do after the fact. Well, for Kaylin, she rides a motorcycle all over the country and has the time of her life. But, I mean, to sit and talk to Maggie and hear her story of how she went from a nobody to being where she is, really, what'd she say, Heather, in less than 2 years?
Yeah.
And, like, hearing the things that she did to get the recognition and to get noticed. I mean, that was probably one of the most fun episodes I've ever done. Like I said, multifaceted. One, because I was at the Tennessee Motorcycle and Music Revival.
Yeah.
2, I was speaking to someone that, without working for the dealership, I would have never had the opportunity to.
Yeah, and is an icon in their field.
And is an icon in their field. That was probably one of the funnest episodes for me.
Yeah. Oh, I can definitely see that. Well, and that goes back to what you were talking about earlier. The people that we've met doing this, recording this podcast, are not people that we would just stumble across in day-to-day life. So we're, the stories that they tell are something that we don't have the opportunity to. And a lot of these people don't talk about these things. So we have the the exclusive opportunity in some circumstances to have these discussions with them.
Yeah.
And that's huge. Because in the end, and like you said earlier, it's a podcast and they don't necessarily want to do anything. And then you start talking to them, it's like, this is how it's going to be. Just me and you talking.
Yeah.
This is it. We're not doing anything spectacular. This is not going to be a Q&A. This is a conversation we're having.
Well, like I met Maggie. I didn't get to meet her boyfriend, Justin. But, me and Justin did end up getting connected between Maggie and Sean. Me and Justin got hooked up, and we've talked and we've texted and we've conversated. And Justin, although not being as big of an influencer as Maggie is, he's still an influencer. But on top of that, Justin flies around the country making motorcycle videos.
Mm-hmm.
That's his job. He posted the other day where he always wanted to do it for sailing yachts when he first got it into videography and photography and stuff like that. And it ended up transitioning into doing motorcycle stuff. And he hopes one day to have a sailing yacht. And I hope for him one day that he can have a nice sailing yacht. But I could call him on the phone right now and...
Well, no, you can't right now.
Well, but I'm saying I could call him on the phone right now and we could talk. I mean, the cool thing is I've called him when I'm stumped on doing some video editing work. Mm-hmm. And I've been like, what do I need to do, man? And he's talked me through it, and he's helped me out immensely. And, I wouldn't have had that opportunity
Otherwise,
yeah. So, Heather, what do you think? What's probably the funnest podcast from this year for you?
Honestly, it was the Maggie episode for me too. Just because, as big as she is, female riding wise, for me that was awesome. And two, the social media aspect for her, because I'm trying to get into that social media aspect too. I was fangirling myself with her. Like I was girl crushing on her at the time. Just that was my top episode.
Yeah, I mean, I think for you, it was one of those things where you tell me all the time that your dream is to be like that social media influencer when it comes to that kind of that women empowerment in the automotive / motorcycle community. Those are the people you look up to.
Yes.
And meeting Maggie and getting that opportunity, because you and Maggie talked about what it takes to do those types of things.
Yep.
That being said, give Muffin a follow on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, follow her. She is at Moto Muffin. If you are a fan of Dixon Flannels, every Friday, she hadn't missed a beat for almost 2 years now.
Yep.
She posts up Flannel Friday posts. And trust me, it causes some animosity sometimes because she's like, I don't know what to post. And I'm like, just take a picture of your closet and make people jealous. So.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
Daniel, I know you haven't had an episode that I haven't been there for.
Yeah, that is true. All the episodes I've been on, you have been there.
I have the phone.
You do have the phone. You have the mobile studio. It is mobile with Marcus.
Yes.
Be a new cell phone carrier here in the next year. Mobile with Marcus. I think just as far as individual podcasts go, I think one of the biggest things for me that I've enjoyed doing is discussing our personal experiences riding, because in a certain aspect, you know, there may be people that listen that have never ridden a motorcycle before, that have never had the experience of what we've described or going to the places that we've gone. And, you know, us going through different topics such as what type of gear, even what type of motorcycle to look at for certain riding styles. You know, I think that's a huge thing for somebody. And then going through the episodes where we talk about Heather's first riding experiences, you know, first getting on a motorcycle that she has never seen before until that day. So, and I think that's one of the things. And I hope this is true. I believe that it is, that we have influenced people getting on bikes, riding, maybe going to places that they didn't think they were going, and making sure that they have the right gear or the right motorcycle to do those things.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, you know. Me and Heather had the privilege of meeting Brian from the Upshift podcast, one of the Brians from the Upshift podcast, the Brian that's from South Carolina. And, you know, to be able to talk to him and communicate with him, it's been a blast. But, you know, what you're saying about, you know, our opinion and our influence, anybody that has ever sent us a message on Facebook Messenger, you listen to the podcast and you know me and Daniel have a difference of opinion. That's not just a podcast thing. I'm going to tell you now. Ben can probably tell you, Ben from he's California. I don't know the name of the city. What city are you in, Ben? I know you can't tell
Please
me
message us again, because neither of us can remember.
He's screaming at me. San Jose. San Jose.
Remember, this is the fireside chat. We don't have all that information in front of us.
But, you know, he's sent us several messages on Messenger and commented on posts and stuff on social media. And I'm sure he can tell the difference, even without us going, oh, hey, this is Marcus. Oh, hey, this is Daniel. You can tell the difference in how we talk.
Oh, absolutely.
And you can usually, based on what day of the week, tell how my week's been based on how articulate I am in what I'm saying.
So, speaking of Ben, have you bought any new motorcycles recently?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Let us know if you
Okay, yeah, you haven't let us know if there's been any new purchases.
So, Ben, and also, you know, I would love to come see you in California. Maybe one day. California's not on the top of my bucket list.
They might stop us at the border.
Not very much. They might stop me at the Mississippi River and go, sorry, sir, you're not allowed west of here. Ben, I'm telling you, come out here. Come ride the Skyway and the Dragon with us, man. You'll have the time of your life. I promise you that.
You can't bring a bike. We'll provide one for you.
That's true.
You're going to ride the KTM, Ben.
Yeah.
About the KTM.
Just that's what it is. Yep, there comes the smoke chasing me down again.
Yeah.
But we do appreciate hearing from our listeners. And I think that's one of the biggest things.
To go one step further than hearing from our listeners, how about the fact that Jeremy came down to Panama and met us?
Yeah. So someone actually wanted to go see us. Jeremy, I don't know why. I really don't know why, but you wanted to come down and meet us, which has been fantastic. And I know both Marcus and I have talked to you multiple times since then.
Not just through social media. He's came down to Chattanooga.
Yeah.
When we had the veterans ride.
Absolutely.
He came down to
He
Chattanooga
brought
and
his
rode
brought
with
his
us
son with him.
on the, well, I say the veterans ride. It was the 9/11
Yeah.
event, but he came down for that, brought his son and stuff.
Yeah.
And that was really cool to see, but it was really cool to be able to meet one of the fans and even do a podcast with him. You know, we put the stipulation out there that if you came down and met us, we'd play Chop Ride Sell with you. He came down and met us, and we did a whole freaking episode.
Yeah.
So,
And, you know, I think that it is one of those amazing things which we don't think about, because for us we're doing something that we enjoy. We're recording our conversations, and then the fact that you guys are want to listen to us and actually listen to what we say.
Yeah, I don't even want to listen to Daniel half the time.
Yeah,
So that blows my mind.
every time Marcus talks, it's like the Peanuts. Womp 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 womp.
So,
So we need to record an episode like that one day. Just 30 minutes of going back and forth.
I don't think I can handle
Oh,
that.
that'd be hilarious.
So, Daniel, I want to ask you about something.
Okay.
So, actually, I want to ask you about three things.
Oh, I don't know if we can afford 3.
There are 3 things that you did this past year that, if it wasn't for the podcast and us being friends,
Okay.
you possibly might have never done.
Well, obviously, I know one is going to PCB, going down for Bike Week.
You went to Bike Week for one.
Would not have gone down there.
Yeah.
That was
And
us being friends.
that's not you saying you wouldn't go back.
No, it would not have been just something
It
that
would
I
have been on your
desired.
list.
Yeah.
Unless you'd had a friend that you were close to that was like, we're going,
Yeah.
top deal.
Yeah, I wouldn't go by myself.
Correct. You wouldn't have initiated that.
Correct.
We didn't initiate the first time we went. We went because Heather's dad was going.
Exactly. So you knew somebody that
Yeah.
was going, and that's
That's number one.
okay.
Number 2, went to the Barber Museum.
That is true. I had not been prior to, that was a dealer ride, but I wouldn't have done the dealer ride had I not known you.
Correct.
Because I would not step foot in a Harley Davidson dealership had I not known you.
Yeah.
And the other one was also because of a dealer ride.
Wheels Through Time?
Went to Wheels Through Time Museum.
Yes. I will say, though, Wheels Through Time would probably be a little bit more likely because I've ridden out to Maggie Valley area before.
Wheels Through Time probably would have been something. Barber, not so much, because if you're going down there, you're pretty much just going down there for Barber.
Exactly.
Wheels Through Time would be something more or less. You're in the area, you like motorcycles. Hey, let's go to Wheels Through Time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Wheels Through Time may have happened
Yeah.
regardless, but no, I would.
But it's not on the short list.
No, it would not have been on the short list. And Barber was a place that I had wanted to go, and then finally had the opportunity to go.
But Barber's one of those things too. I feel like, because we discussed this, it's not necessarily anything you and Stephanie would have went, oh, let's ride down to Barber.
Exactly. Exactly.
But there's so many things that happen because of other factors in play, like playing chess. Stephanie might not be on the bike she is if it wasn't for the dealer rides that we were going on a regular basis, longer trips. It was one of those factors where it was like, okay, we need to get you a bike that's going to be more suited and better for you to handle longer rides on.
Correct. Correct.
So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that transpires.
Oh, no, absolutely. And, it's being prior to my friendship with you and doing all of this, our riding experience was typically around town. Mm-hmm. It was me and her, and that's what we would do. We would go ride places, we'd go get food, and then we'd come home.
And it was, I don't want to say the riding experience was low, but, the type of riding.
It was not outside
was
of
definitely
the...
around town riding.
Yes.
Because
Oh,
when
it
we
was definitely
met-
around town riding.
When we met, you only had 3 bikes in your garage.
Oh, that's true. I did only have 3 bikes in the garage.
You had the ZRX.
No, I didn't have the ZRX yet when we met.
When we first met at Riverbend? Or
No.
not at Riverbend, at Nightfall?
Nope. I had the KZ.
Yeah, you were riding the KZ to Nightfall.
I had the Honda 650,
Yeah.
and I had a Honda 250.
See, you didn't ride the 250 down there.
No.
So right after we met you, you must have gotten rid of the 250 and bought the ZRX.
The 250 was very, right in that area. We had sold it off because I had...
It must have literally been in that first couple weeks that we met
yeah,
you.
it was.
Because I think we met y'all, and then you weren't there the next week, And then
Yeah.
the week after that, you were there, and I think you had the ZRX then.
No.
The first time I came over here, you already had the ZRX.
First time you came over here, I did have the ZRX. But
That's
not,
only like into a month of knowing each other.
Yes. My motorcycle purchasing went through the roof for
Yes,
a
it
very
did.
short period of time.
Yes, it did. Yeah,
It's okay,
because
it's
you went,
okay.
but you also traded around. Like, you traded that Honda for a
Vulcan 1500.
Yeah, Vulcan.
Then traded that for the V-Star 650.
Yep.
And then sold the V-Star 650 and bought Stephanie her 1300.
Yep.
And then that Honda 250, it was about the time that we all started getting together.
Yeah.
I had sold that because it was not something that me and Stephanie were going to ride anymore. You know, it was a bike to get her on a bike, and
Yeah.
it was good for what it was.
I feel like the Valkyrie is something that you still possibly would have ended up with, even outside of me, only because I feel like you would have potentially looked for something, because you like to ride and you'll ride to work and stuff.
Yeah.
You would have looked for something that would have been better suited and more comfortable for you to ride on a regular basis, commuting and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, and that's what I did after the purchase of the ZRX. I was like, I like the ZRX. The ZRX is great, but you know, unless I put that bag on the back of it,
Yeah.
storage is very minimal.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to say it's
And even then, it's not a secure storage.
no, it's not a secure storage. I can't lock anything. And that was a conversation that me and Stephanie had. It's like, hey, if we're going to maybe ride around a little bit more, go places outside of Chattanooga, Hamilton County, North, you know, like outside of the
Yeah.
30-mile region that we have, I want something a little bit bigger, something that goes on the highway.
What's the furthest y'all had rode before, like, going on dealer rides and stuff like that? Y'all together, not you by yourself.
Together, we've ridden out into North Carolina via the Ocoee. We
That's an hour.
Yeah, so I would say probably max an hour.
I mean, because we've determined from the shop to the gas station we stop at Murphy's 77 miles.
Yeah. So I mean that was, and I think now though, having bikes that are more capable
Oh, yeah.
of doing that, because when we rode to the Ocoee, I
Definitely
was
capable.
I was on the-
I have seen Stephanie break the speed limit.
yeah. Shh. I was on the KZ 1000, and that was before the rebuild. And she
Yeah.
was on the CB 650. You know, we're talking about two bikes that are 20, 30 plus years old
Yeah.
at the time.
Two bikes that now, if the conversation was taking place where it's like, even if we said we're just going to ride to Murphy, even though you have the KZ still,
I'm not going to take the
you're
KZ
not
to
going to
Murphy.
take the KZ.
No.
Because you have a bike that's better suited for it, less
Yeah.
chance of something happening.
Correct. You know, there's a lot of things, you know, even though my bikes are still older,
Yeah.
you know, the Valkyrie's a 98, the ZRX is a 99. I have less concern about those bikes, knowing the mechanical condition that they're in, the low mileage that I purchased them at, you know, and I've replaced everything.
Yeah.
The KZ is still a 40-year-old motorcycle.
Yeah, it's fun, but it's like my little truck. I have a 30-year-old Toyota pickup, and that I haven't had an issue with it. I mean, that truck runs great, but I've never.
You're not going to drive it up to Nashville.
I have never drove it to where it came from, down in northern Alabama,
Yeah,
and that's only like 45 miles away.
but that's not saying that it couldn't.
That's where it came from.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
well,
well, when I say came from Chattanooga. It went there.
yeah.
And then came back to Chattanooga, and then I got it.
Yeah. But that, you know,
But it made that trip on a regular basis, and I have never went. Whenever we're going down to see family and stuff down there, I've never went. Let's take the truck. Heather's got a really nice vehicle. We just take it.
well, and I think it's kind of the same thing. Like, I love the KZ, absolutely love the KZ. I'm not going to get rid of it. I enjoy riding it around town.
Yeah.
But I have developed into bikes that are a little bit more modern, a little bit more suited for certain types of riding.
And that for the guys that may be listening to this that do have older bikes and enjoy their older bikes, there's no hate against them. I have friends that ride on a regular basis. I mean, all over. I mean, miles upon miles upon miles. And there's people on social media that do it and stuff. I mean, 40 years old is used compared to the bikes that they're riding.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking bikes that are 60, 70 years old, bikes from the 40s and 50s and stuff. And they're hundreds of mile trips and stuff like that. No big deal. But it's one of those things where it's kind of like today, you know, it's 35 degrees when I went to work. Was it sun shining? Yes.
That doesn't mean anything.
Could I have rode my motorcycle? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I walked out and said, I'm taking my truck.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and that's how I feel about the KZ. Like, I mean, there was a time before I had the other bikes, I would absolutely do a 200-mile ride on the KZ. Was I happy about it? Yeah. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I was out on a motorcycle. I enjoyed every bit of it.
Yeah.
I went through a lot of tanks of gas. But, you know, it was one of those things, and I still do ride the KZ quite a bit. I don't ride it as much as I used to.
But I think you enjoy riding more than you enjoy tinkering.
Yes.
And stuff like the KZ, even if you're riding it all the time.
It's more of a novelty at this point to me.
If you rode it every day for 3 months, even though it might still be running great, you need to start looking at preventative maintenance on that you don't have to necessarily, even though along the same lines as the ZRX and the Valkyrie, you know, being carbureted, a lot of mechanical and cable driven stuff, you don't have to worry about certain things with those.
Yeah.
Whereas the KZ, you know, taking the carbs off and making sure they're cleaned out real good, making sure there's no gas buildup and everything like that.
Yeah.
Because gas that we have now is not the same as what they had then.
Yeah, even ethanol-free gas now is not the same as when that bike was new. Yeah. You know, the ZRX and the Valkyrie are much more modern in that sense, where they're built around these certain modern conveniences and the way things are.
Well, they can handle
variances a little bit better.
The variance is better. Yeah, that's a great way to say it. You know, for me, you know, talk about the non-ethanol and ethanol gas. That's kind of one of those things, and I don't want to get into that argument with anybody. For me, if I need gas, stop and get gas.
Yeah.
I don't worry about going, oh, that's ethanol free or not ethanol free. Man, I've been doing that for 40,000 miles on my Street Glide. I haven't had an issue. I've been doing that for the past 15 years riding on the road.
Yeah.
And haven't had any issues. But the biggest factor that I don't do is let the bike sit.
True.
Correct. And that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's carbureted or fuel injected, you let a bike sit with ethanol or non-ethanol gas,
whatever it may be.
It's not going to be healthy for the bike.
Yeah, whatever it may be.
But that being said, on all the carbureted bikes that I have, non-ethanol gas. I'm a little bit more lenient with the KTM and Stephanie's bike. You know, wherever gas needs to be, gas is going to be.
Yeah, but like I said, I can't speak to that. It's been many years since I've owned a carbureted motorcycle.
Yeah.
Don't have anything against the carbureted motorcycle.
It's just an older technology.
I enjoy just being able to go out and start my bike and
not have to fiddle with it.
Yeah.
But I mean that's the thing. And
I've had an in between bike too.
You've been in between bikes?
No, I've had an in between motorcycle.
Oh, the
my 599.
Yes, because that was the fuel injected with the enricher.
Yeah, so it was, which it basically
was a choke.
Which pretty much every motorcycle currently to this day are, and I'm not saying everyone, I'm sure there's some out there that aren't this way, but most of them that are fuel injected have throttle bodies. And for those that might not understand, a throttle body is just a carburetor with a fuel injection system.
That is correct.
No, it's not designed the same. For anybody that's mechanically inclined, they're going to go, they're nothing alike. I'm talking to the people that don't know anything about motorcycles right now.
Yeah.
Because direct injection is true fuel injection.
Yeah.
Harleys, most every cruiser on the market runs a throttle body.
Yeah. Well, and that's a more convenient way to run a motorcycle.
It's an easy way to run a motorcycle because of the maintenance. If I was to have an issue on we'll say the intake side of the motorcycle, I have pieces I can remove instead of having to remove an entire top end.
Correct.
From a motorcycle.
Correct.
But, that being said, going back to my 599 that I had, that motorcycle had an enrichener lever that I can adjust. It was throttle body, but it was early throttle body. This legitimately was basically a carburetor, but instead of a needle jet, it had a injector in place of a jet. So you could still enrich and lean it out. And you could, it could be super cold and I could start the bike. And it's not that it's not going to run if I don't turn the enrichener up or anything like that. It's just the way it's designed, it's not going to run as good. Turn the enrichener up, get the bike good and flowing, basically get like a vacuum going and everything like that.
Get it up to operating specs.
Yeah. But what was nice about that was I could start the bike, put that enrichener on full blast, put my gear on, get on the bike, click it into neutral, let the power from the higher RPMs from the enrichener being on get me out to the main road because I was in an apartment complex. So let it get me out to the main road, cut it down, go.
Yep.
So actually I wasn't just in an apartment complex. We lived off of 58 too, in the house off of Highway 58 when I first got that motorcycle. So even then it was the same thing. I just let it roll to the edge of the neighborhood. But yeah, I mean, times change.
Absolutely. Well, and that's something to be said about all of us. We, as time progresses, we look at different things in motorcycles. We're trying to accomplish different goals.
Yep.
I know both me and you have talked about getting some sort of dual sport ADV type bikes because that's something that neither of us have really delved into.
Although something I'm around currently, like for work purposes. That's one of the exciting things that's happening in 23. White Lightning Harley Davidson has taken on some pretty big endeavors, and our name has been put into circles. That's kind of like, all right, time to step up to the plate and show what you can do. So it's really exciting to say that. But I do like the way that you say how growing as things change and time changes, because you may hear that with us. There may be things in the upcoming year where we're like, our opinion on something has changed. It might be simply because we have more experience with something. But it also might be because something itself has changed. There is a lot, because we pretty much are both subscribed to every single motorcycle news network and YouTube channel and Reddit forum and Facebook group. There is some stuff happening right now in the motorcycle community that's like, holy cow. There's stuff happening in personal groups, people looking at motorcycles and making changes. That's like, holy cow. There is stuff that's happening with events and rallies in 2023 that I've got some inside information on, only because of my job, where there's some things that are changing that might make people go, what in the world are they doing? But, If you can't roll with the punches, I mean, then you're out. I mean,
Well, and that's, the hobby that we're in. Times do change.
oh yeah,
Things change. You're not going to be able to, like, I can't go out today and buy a KZ1000 brand new off the showroom floor.
man. I meet people right now that will tell you that Harley Davidson discontinuing the XL Sportster model is the dumbest thing they've ever done. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to hear it. And they're like, no, let me tell you. And I'm like, listen, let me tell you. I heard people say the same thing when they got rid of the Dyna, and people said the same thing when they got rid of the FXR. I don't want to hear it, okay? I was working at the dealership shortly after they got rid of the Evo. I mean, Evos, they had been gone for a couple years, but you're talking people coming in with 3-4-year-old motorcycles. That's not an old motorcycle.
No.
And it's an Evo engine at that time. And I heard so much people complaining left and right because that was also the dawn. I was working at the dealership when a lot of the bikes we were selling brand new on the floor were still carbureted.
Yeah.
And hearing the guys talk about, oh, that bike's fuel infected. I don't want fuel infected. And it's like, why? So, for anybody that's listening to this that wants to kind of understand where my head is on those types of things, I want you to take a look at two car companies, Kia and Hyundai.
Yeah.
20 years ago.
Did
Would
you
you-
want either of them?
Yeah. Did you go, oh, I wanted a Elantra? Or, oh, you know what? I think I'm going to go out and get a Rio. Man, I tell you what.
I'm sure somebody has said that at some point.
Yeah,
Man, I
probably
really
so.
want a Kia
Probably
Rio.
But look at them now, dude.
Oh, yeah, they're fantastic vehicles. They've really,
The Stinger, the K9, the
even the new Elantra.
Well, yeah, the new Elantras, the Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
Man, they're making some fantastic cars. And
But if you were stuck in the past, you would never look at them.
no. And I've had those same conversations with people about Honda, older people. And I'm like, what do you think of Honda? And they're like, oh, it's a great brand. And I'm like, really? Because I've read the articles. I have literally went back and seen magazine articles from American car magazines where they're dishing out on Honda in the 60s talking about that some motorcycle company trying to make a car and they don't know what they're doing. They need to leave car manufacturing to the Americans and all this other stuff. And hey, buddy,
Who's the biggest seller of vehicles worldwide?
Jeep. It's because everybody wants a motorcycle and not everybody can have one. Boom. So, yeah.
Indian's the biggest.
Indian is the biggest seller of cars in the United States. I'm just kidding. It's
Oh, go
Polaris.
slingshot.
Polaris. No. I think it's Suzuki. So I can't stop.
We're just gonna go down this rabbit hole.
No. We're gonna wind down to an end here. Anyways, I want to put this out there. If there's stuff that you want to hear, I don't care what it is. Let me know. Let us know. You can send us a message on Instagram at The Daily Biker. You can send us a message on Facebook, The Daily Biker.
We're hard to find.
Yeah. If you are, like I said, a Dixon fan and you want to follow Miss Muffin, follow her at Moto Muffin. If you're local to the dealership and want to know what's going on, where you can find me and Daniel at when it comes to events and dealer rides and stuff, I encourage you to follow the dealership, White Lightning Harley Davidson, White Lightning Harley on Instagram, Facebook, anywhere you're going to find social media, really. So you can also send us an email at the Daily Biker Podcast at gmail.com and let us know what you want to hear or what you may be interested in. Shoot me some topics. I've gotten a couple videos here lately that I think are pretty cool.
Yep.
That I'm going to roll into some topics for discussion for 2023. outside of that, like I said, next week's episode is the Christmas special. It's going to come out on Christmas morning. And after that, it is the 100th episode. So stay tuned for that. Can you believe we're already at 100?
No.
Can't believe it.
Hey everybody, this is Sean at White Lightning Harley Davidson. I want to thank you for listening to the Daily Biker Podcast. You can reach the podcast on Facebook or Instagram at The Daily Biker, or you can email the podcast at thedailybiker@gmail.com. Be sure to keep an eye on White Lightning Harley Davidson social media pages for the most up-to-date information on all our events and where you can find the boys.